that you want me back. I know I should be seeing all the good, but it's hard and it's no play and there's too many growing pains.
Those are songs from our next guest. They're performing in Houston this weekend. More on that in just a few minutes. Right now, let's get to know Quinn, Georgia, and Lauren, the trio known as Trousdale. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Even your good morning almost sounded musical. Yes. Okay, let's do that again. Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's get to know you. So, Quinn, you say you didn't listen to a lot of music growing up, but you were a part of music growing up.
Yes, I did choir and I played classical piano growing up. I listened to a little bit of music, but not, I think, in the same way that these two did.
Yeah. And musical theater is something else that you were involved in.
Yep. Choir, musical theater, and piano. I was just a big nerd.
Yeah,
so.
you were just a big nerd. Okay, I was a nerd with you. All right, but I actually took honors Latin along with the musical theater and the whole bit. So.
I was also in Latin. I go to Shell Ghosters.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so is there a point where you realized that you were really good?
Well, I started playing before I could remember personally, so I think I just always knew I was good. That's all I remember. But I do remember in like fifth grade, I started singing.
Yeah.
And I remember my parents were like, wow, Quinn, you are really something as Snow White in that school play.
And to the point where you took that seriously in college, you auditioned as a vocalist for USC's music program. We'll get back to that in just a second. But Georgia, both of your parents are musical.
Yes, yeah. I grew up with two very musical parents, grew up around a lot of music playing around the house all the time. So they're both kind of, they're very proud of me.
Yeah, and you were raised on lots of funk, you say, like Chaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, Prince, also Joni Mitchell and Shania Twain. So you had a wide variety of music around the house.
Yes, a lot of different genres. But I grew up kind of thinking, I don't know what type of music I'm going to want to make because all the influences were so varied, and I found myself in this wonderful band with these two ladies.
How did you take part in music in school?
Yeah, I was also in choir, a cappella, musical theater, and I thought that when I went to high school I was going to like be a cheerleader, and then I immediately joined choir and started doing musicals and never did cheerleading at all. Music kind of just followed me.
You also auditioned for a vocalist at the USC music program. Okay, we're going to see a little theme going on here. And then Lauren, you heard mostly country music growing up.
Yeah, a lot of like top country radio, also just like a lot of top pop radio as well, and then like the Beatles, just from my dad.
Yeah. All right. And so your dad, you played Beatles songs, and at 13 you started guitar yourself. It's one thing to use our voice, but it's another thing, like the other two ladies, to actually incorporate an instrument as well.
Yeah, I definitely started guitar when I was in middle school, I think, and just been doing it ever since. I always like was drawn to the guitar just as a means to be playing a song.
Yeah, and be playing a song that chances are you wrote. That's the other part. It's nice to have that guitar to kind of facilitate a song that you wrote. You love Taylor Swift, indie music, but you also wrote songs. You were in bands, and there's a point where you saw that it could actually be a real career, because oftentimes when we, like I mentioned earlier, when we have a skill like that in the arts, sometimes people question whether that can actually be a living.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in a super small town in Michigan and definitely did not know anybody in the whole state that was in the entertainment industry or like did anything like that. So it just always felt like such a pipe dream to me. But I ended up going to this really amazing school called Interlochen up in northern Michigan, and I studied songwriting there, and it really allowed me to kind of see a future in music.
Yeah, you auditioned as a songwriter at USC music program. So now we have all three of you there at the same time. How did you find each other? It wasn't, I guess, that hard because this is a very exclusive group of people in this program, but how did you find each other and come together to the point where you thought, let's form a group?
Yeah, Georgia and I were in a songwriting class together, and we got paired up, started writing this song called Do Re Mi that we still play sometimes today. And we brought Quinn in to add some harmonies and finish up the song. And we played it for our songwriting class, and everybody just really loved it. And we kind of had a moment of just realizing, like, wow, maybe this is something we should keep doing.
Yeah, we were sitting like this, like tapping.
Yeah, literally.
The cats,
Yeah.
just singing a cappella.
It was very random. Our program was, like you said, pretty small, and everybody was very talented. So I think there was like a lot of respect immediately for each other when we first met. And so yeah, we all were like fans of each other. And then when we started to write together, it was like, whoa, this is really special.
Yeah.
And we didn't start in it until way after college. But then it was those were the humble beginnings.
Take us through the name Trousdale.
It's just a street that goes through the campus.
You're like, it's just a street that goes through a campus,
Yeah.
but it's a cool
Well,
name.
Listen, we had some other options, so I'm glad we went with the street. The Star Sisters was an option for us.
Yep.
We decided against that because we're not sisters.
Carolina Blue.
Carolina Blue, and we went with different colors, so we couldn't do that. But we were just sitting underneath the Trousdale Parkway sign when we were trying to decide a name, and we looked up and we said, "Why don't we just do Trousdale?"
Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't question it. We didn't look into it in any way, shape,
Yeah.
or form.
Well, I remember we were looking up different names on Spotify to see if they were already taken, and
Yeah.
that was one of them. There wasn't like a ton of.
We didn't want it all to be so connected to our university, but once we chose that name, it just stuck, and we couldn't beat it.
And it has a great
Yeah.
story behind it, in that what you just explained. All right, we're looking at a series of pictures of you all, and I can't help but notice that there seems to be a theme of colors. In fact, each one of you are wearing what you're wearing this morning, not by accident, in your color shade. Tell us about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we all decided to try to be a little bit more colorful. I think this was like 3-4 years ago now, and we went to a place called Big Bud Press to get jumpsuits, and we tried on a ton of different combinations, and this one just stuck for whatever reason. I mean, I think we accidentally thought of the Powerpuff Girls, but that was a subconscious choice.
Yeah.
But you got
And
your
yeah, we
pink,
just
green,
stuck
and
with it.
blue, which we'll always see you all in a variation of. All right, so you get to over 50 million Spotify streams. You know, there's so many, little godwinks, if you will, along the way that tell you you're doing the right thing. 50 million plus, that's crazy. But your first album, Out of My Mind, you were still learning lessons. One thing you say is you kind of overthought everything. This next album, you have Growing Pains, which the title there speaks to it. You're much more, authentic in yourself, and you kind of let the process just play out.
Yeah, I think like you said, we learned a lot in the last album. We all took each song apart and really recorded each instrument one at a time and thought about it so meticulously, which was amazing. It served us really well. And I think going into this next one, we really wanted to focus on what we do best, which is live performance. And so we focused on the recording process as more of a live-based recording experience, and we had all of the musicians. We really highlighted each of their abilities and let them do what they do best, and we just felt like that helped us to move through the process a lot easier and feel much more inspired by it.
Yeah.
Can I just say I was
think
really inspired by those pink boxing gloves I just saw right there. But you were also on the Kelly Clarkson show, which gives you another wide audience. You're on tour now, Growing Pains tour, and your album. Many of your shows are sold out. You'll be upstairs at White Oak Music Hall in Houston, which is known for it's such a great intimate space. What can fans expect?
Yeah, fans can expect a fun and exciting show. Some joy, some sadness, some healing, some laughter. I think we can be pretty silly on
Some
stage.
community.
Some community.
Yeah, maybe some friends.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I know you pretty much probably work on the night side, so you can go back to bed, and then we'll see you when you get to Houston. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right. You can catch Trousdale on their Growing Pains headlining tour this Friday, May 30th at 7 p.m. upstairs at White Oak Music Hall. While VIP packages have sold out, general admission tickets are still available. You can find more information on our website at greatdayhouston.com.